Connor, thanks so much for joining us today. I appreciate you making time, and we're excited to learn a little bit more about how MITRE's really making a difference in terms of verticalized SaaS. So, we'd love to just maybe start a little bit more with kind of the origin story. Like, how did you get started in building MITRE? When did you guys start, and where are you guys at today? Yeah, so great questions, and thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out. I'm really excited to do this and admire all that you do. Yeah, I mean, the origin story of MITRE really started when I was nerding out about payments technology and nerding out about accounting in my previous job. I was actually in sort of an investing role, but had joined that role really wanting to find sort of a decades-long problem I could devote the rest of my career to. I've always been a software nerd, and from a software perspective, was really excited about innovations happening in embedded payments and accounting, and how those innovations could be applied to these big, important industries in society, and make them better. Had this idea that the construction industry needed sort of better software. If you look from the outside, big industry, maybe 10 years behind the arrest economy in terms of technology adoption. And now with all this embedded payments technology, you had a sort of a new canvas to paint on in terms of solving core problems within that industry. I decided to intern at an accounting firm to learn for myself, not having kind of direct background in construction, whether those theoretical problems were actually true. And within a few days of being at this bookkeeping accounting firm, it was really clear that, hey, there are huge problems to be solved. So number one, credit card reconciliation was completely manual, and we were going line by line through these credit card statements, trying to job cost different credit card transactions. And then from a payroll perspective, it was basically impossible to figure out where your payroll was going and to job cost payroll. There's this thing called prevailing wage, which was really hard to solve. And so it was sort of that curiosity about the construction industry and embedded payments that led me to this bookkeeping gig, which, by the way, I got fired. I got fired from that job because it turned out I was actually a pretty bad bookkeeper and not diligent enough. But it definitely convinced me within really a few days that there are these big unsolved problems for this big important industry in the US. And so we started MITRE with the idea that we could use some of these new payment technologies to build a sort of labor workforce management system built for the construction industry and really expand from there, and hopefully solve other problems for that customer. What's been the product evolution for you guys since you started? Because the company's only a few years old, right? So where did you guys start? What was the first wedge? And then what are the things that have come out since then? Yeah, so our first product was a timekeeping and payroll solution built for contractors. And the three problems that we were solving that no one else was is number one, job costing. So made it really easy to tie every cent of your payroll, so both direct labor and indirect labor, down to the job cost code cost type that you were working on. Number two is compliance. So if you're doing prevailing wage or union, or you've got unionized employees, we'd help you manage all the reporting there. And then number three, we would also connect to all of your other systems. So contractors use a completely different set of software than does the rest of the economy, really. And so we would build really high quality integrations with all that software. And so that was our first product, is really payroll and time tracking. From there, we've launched benefits management, HR tools, that's employee onboarding, performance learning. And we've also really invested in field reporting. So not only can you track time, you can track equipment usage and production and materials. And then we've also launched expense management, which allows you to sort of keep track of miscellaneous reimbursement and credit card spend as well. When you guys were launching payroll as well as benefits as well, I think for a lot of startups, there's a decision between, do we embed an existing solution like a Gusto or a Check, or do we build our own infrastructure? Did you guys go through that thought process? Where'd you land? Yeah, there was never really a debate for us, being an early stage startup, whether we should build sort of a national tax filing capability in-house. We felt like part of the reason we thought MITRE was even possible as a concept is because there existed this new technology, this new solution where we could focus on other problems our customers were having instead of having to reinvent sort of the tax filing and calculation wheel. And so we use an embedded solution. We use an embedded solution today. We think it's a huge benefit to us and to our customers, and that we can hold this embedded solution accountable for high quality and high performance, but really spend our resources as a company on the industry specific problems that our customers actually have.
As you guys got started in the space, who are some of what's the competitive landscape look like? Is it mostly been ERP solutions that absolutely neglect like the benefits HR side of things? Has it been, the HCM platforms that are just overbuilt for small nimble contractors? Like, what does that look like? Feel free to use names. We can pick on people.
Yeah, no, you know all the names. I think you nailed the two categories that we typically see and that contractors really struggle with. So, 95% of the time, our customers are using either the payroll solution embedded in their ERP system, which, as you mentioned, neglects benefits administration, HR. So it's really tightly integrated from a job costing perspective, but doesn't necessarily integrate with all of the non-accounting stuff you need. You're doing HR manually, you're doing benefits manually. And so, when you look at MITRE, where all of that stuff is integrated in one solution, it typically looks a lot better. Or you're using ADP, Paychex, Workday, Paycom, etc. Great systems, but don't solve any of those industry specific problems that we were designed to solve. And so, yeah, 95%, maybe even 98, 99%, it's one of those two solutions.
Nice. When you guys first got started and you got your first, dozen, 25 customers on board, what were some of the surprising things that you guys were able to unlock for them?
The biggest thing that we were able to unlock is a very clean payroll run from start to finish, which sounds super basic, but I'll explain. Payroll run starts with collecting clean hours from everyone in the business, not a solved problem for construction. Interestingly, this was one of our first takeaways. Time tracking and getting clean time data into your payroll system is not a solved problem. And so we found that just by automating the collection of data, the review and approval of data on a job by job basis, and funneling the right hours to the right people within the organization, and then those hours showing up within payroll, nicely calculated with the right rates, whether union rates or prevailing wage rates, was a huge win in itself. We then process the payroll, and a lot of contractors still file taxes themselves or in-house. So we process the full payroll, deposited direct deposits, and then push job costed payroll to the accounting system. We didn't realize like how much time that would unlock just, owning that entire process end to end. So that was something really surprising. The other big surprising thing was how important these tight and ERP integrations are, especially when a lot of contractors are currently running payroll inside their accounting systems. One of the big unlocks for us was specializing and really differentiating on the quality of our accounting integrations. It's something that we still think we're best at in the industry, is going deep with every single construction accounting system, which very different than normal accounting systems. Being able to pull the job cost structure in real time from those systems, map every cent in your payroll to the right job and cost code and category, and then actually syncing that data via API, if at all possible, was another huge unlock. And the more ERPs that we found that we worked with, the more momentum we got. We were able to funnel a lot of that momentum back into the product.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense that that has to be like a leading edge differentiator. I feel like when we talk to groups in the construction space, like the wish list is just that. It's just work seamlessly with my ERP system. Everything else tends to be secondary after that. So I think like taking a very different approach to using APIs and really not trying to build like a one size fits all model of just like a GL export, but actually getting into the weeds of each particular one. It's probably been a big leg up for you guys. As you get deeper in the space, I guess we could frame it this way. There's probably a push and a pull that you've heard all the time of like going verticalized. Like the advantage is the specialization and really understanding the problem and really solving it in the most elegant way for that audience. But then it can potentially cap the scale of the total addressable market. So how do you think about I guess depth versus breadth as it comes to the customers that you guys target and the problems you guys try to solve?
Yeah, it's a really challenging, I think, dilemma or strategic question at every stage of every business. Whether you're vertical or horizontal, you have flavors of this problem. The way that we're thinking about it is that for the indefinite future, our customer is a construction and field service contractor that struggles with one of those three problems: job costing, integration, or compliance. And that we're gonna build, for that customer, we're gonna build and solve the highest priority problems that customer faces. Some of those solutions or some of those problems might be horizontal problems, but we've earned the right by doing payroll better than anyone else to solve those problems for our customer. But we're pretty clear-eyed, and we think that we can build a really important and great business, really serving that customer and the construction and field service industries.
Yeah, we've definitely had a similar back and forth at OutSail where people were like, "Oh, you can apply this selection advisory business to CRMs and ERPs," and we've always kind of stayed true to the HR tech and HCM space, just because I think there's so much opportunity just within that vertical. It doesn't feel like it's constrained us one bit, and the benefit is like all the players, right, the networks, industry conferences, the terminology, like it's not as easy as just picking up and dropping yourself into a new market.
It's true, and it's really tempting to go do new things. Like, we often try to estimate like what percentage of the code that we've written in our code base is construction specific versus not. And there's actually a surprisingly small percentage that's construction specific. I mean, we haven't actually like done that calculation, but I would estimate, I don't know, 20 to 30% is actually construction related. The rest is hiring an employee, administering benefits, getting people paid, managing a time card. And those are not necessarily construction specific, but really the magic of MITRE is the stuff that's construction specific. So it is really tempting, but it's a really important and nice and clarifying filter that we have on our product roadmap, is to say, like, what are the unique problems that our customers struggle with, and then what are our customers actually asking us to do, and let's go do those things. And there's a portion of our roadmap that feels horizontal. For example, performance management is something that every business can, in theory, want to need, and it's a big part of our product and roadmap. And then there's others that are very construction specific. So the commonality is that it's a problem that our customers face and are asking us for.
When you guys are focused exclusively on that construction space, I would imagine it also just makes your entire business tied to the cyclical nature of construction as well. So I'm curious, just especially in this past year with like tariffs and other impacts to the construction space, what have you guys seen on the ground and how has that kind of impacted the way that you guys have operated?
Yeah. Overall, I think at this current moment in December in 2025, the construction industry is doing well, but that's at like a super high level lens. I think if you actually peel back the data, different subsectors are doing better or worse. Obviously, there's been a massive boom in data center construction, and so contractors and our customers that are exposed to that are growing really fast. Whereas other segments, like the residential segment and certain geographies, commercial office, have been challenged in lots of geographies. So there's not like a uniform point of view. But yeah, this is a boom and bust business, and we've aligned our pricing model with our customers so that if our customers are doing really well, we do well. If our customers are hurting, we hurt. And ultimately, we think that's the best long-term way to align ourselves with our customers.
Can you go a little bit deeper on that pricing model? It sounds a little bit different than what others have tried.
I mean, I think we charge on a per user per month basis, and per feature. So all of our pricing is usage based, and you only pay for what you're using. And so if people headcount grows and shrinks, our revenue grow and shrink with that. And then, if people want to turn off certain features, we no longer get paid for them in real time. And, when we talk to customers for the first time, customers love that because we're putting our money where our mouth is and saying, like, if you don't like the feature, stop using it and we'll start billing you for it. Which is very different than what a lot of our peers do.
Yeah, no doubt. I've seen some 3-year contracts with the entire module's got cobwebs all over it, but they paid for every penny of it the entire time. Speaking of other peers, I think specifically in the HCM space, what are some of the common themes that you're hearing from groups who are migrating off of pick a major HCM and they're coming to MITRE? Like, what are the things that the major ones who are really broadly focused in their feature set are missing the mark on for construction?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give our generic HCM competitors too many ideas. I think I go back to those three differentiating parts of MITRE, and then I'll maybe add a fourth. But really, it comes down to being able to handle one, compliance better than anyone, and so um, it's easy to demo some of these labor compliance features around union reporting and prevailing wage reporting. It is much different once you get on the ground and see how easy it is to use those. I think that's often what customers are looking for, is a way to comply with whatever regulations they're facing, and then automate a lot of the back office reporting. Number two, integrations. So again, very easy to like say, oh, our GL export handles that, or oh, we can build a custom API connection. Very different than having hundreds, if not thousands, of customers sort of using these integrations daily. Um, and job costing. So being able to know with confidence that, as a CFO or as a controller, that every cent of your labor cost is going to the right place, and you can analyze all that in real time. Those are the reasons that contractors pick MITRE. And increasingly, as we've built and delivered more and more features to our customers, both within HCM, but then even more broadly in some of these growth areas of our product, namely field operations and expense management. Contractors really love that we're not only consolidating the HCM part of their stack, but also helping them turn off other software vendors in their business. Increasingly, we're finding that customers are turning off 5, 6 different software solutions when they come to MITRE. And again, a lot of those are outside of HCM. Their time tracking, their daily reporting solution, their expense management tool. And increasingly, that's something that we think is pretty unique about MITRE, because a lot of those software solutions that they're turning off are construction specific.
That makes sense. And yeah, like how you said earlier that doing payroll better than anyone else kind of earned the right to look into other things. So I think that's sort of the non-negotiable that everything starts with. But once you're excelling there, then really the world becomes your oyster, because you've kind of cleared the highest bar now, and it's a matter of like, what else could you prove yourself on? Um, Without again giving any generic HCM competitors too much insight, what are the things that get you excited about as far as product roadmap and some of the things that you guys can unlock for customers in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, I'll point to two launches that are, I guess, sort of enhancements, because both of these features exist today. But two areas that we're really doubling down on in the near term. One is performance management. We hear very consistently among our best customers is that they view a strong sort of performance management culture as sort of like key. And so we're doubling down on building a best-in-class performance suite that incorporates AI for making writing reviews really simple, especially for field teams. Incorporating incentive and bonus plans. And so we're really excited about performance in 2026. The second is safety. Safety unites both our learning management system as well as our field reporting system. Safety encompasses both. And it's been a feature that our customers are really excited about as well. So those are sort of like two broad areas that we think are unique in 2026, but we're really spending a lot of time across our full product footprint as well.
All right, you win the award because you didn't answer with AI. So I think that tells me that we're actually listening to customers on the ground and solving problems, and not just slapping some mottos on things.
Did I not mention AI? No. Yeah, no. I mean, we view AI as like a tool to solve problems. There's lots of tools we can use to solve the customer problem, but we want to be careful not to start with a solution. We want to start with a problem, and then if AI is the best tool, then we'll use it. And in fact, again, we're going to use AI in both the performance and the safety enhancements coming in 2026. But definitely, it's not an AI solution. It's a safety or a performance solution that uses AI.
Makes perfect sense. Well, I love it. Well, appreciate you spending some time chatting with us today. Excited to see what you guys roll out going into next year. So, before we go, I guess maybe just wrap up with, I saw an update on LinkedIn about how many, I believe you guys call them Midasaurs, you guys have today. So, where's the team at? Where do you guys look, looking like going into next year?
Yeah, we're over 100 Midasaurs. You got that right, Midasaurs, today, and we expect a lot of growth in 2026. So who knows where exactly we'll end up, but customer base is growing, and we want to make sure we're trying to stay one step ahead of the customers.
Awesome. Well, I know we've got a couple happy customers with Miter today, and hopefully some more coming next year. So, appreciate the time, Connor.